right. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you again. This is our third interview of the day. And again, we're in a different corner of the parliament. And I have an amazing MEP with me here today. This is Sandro Gozi.
Hello.
Hi, very nice that you could make it.
Hi, everybody.
He is an MEP for Renew Europe here in the European Parliament. And just to give some background, you were also one of the Spitzenkandidaten for Renew Europe back when the elections a month ago, right?
Yeah,
very
correct.
That's correct. Great. Great to have you here. And I'm going to start with a little sidekick, and that is the Commission President. Ursula von der Leyen has been elected. Are you happy, or what's your...
Yes, I'm happy because she committed herself on some important political priorities. For me, the biggest one is certainly the reform of the Union, the treaty revision, because we cannot unify our continent, answer to the geopolitical challenges, build up a truly a real defense union without modifying the structure. So I mean, the fact that finally she has been very shy so far.
She has.
I have challenged a lot her also during the electoral campaign as representative of Renew. She was a Spitzenkandidat of European People's Party. She was reluctant to commit, and she has taken this commitment. I think that's very important. It is a force base. We have to work a lot on that. I think that it's very important that what she said about rule of law and to link much more the possibility of using the European budget of benefiting from European programs only if you respect rule of law. So I mean to expand the protection, the measure that we have introduced to protection rule of law. Basically, either you respect the EU values or you don't get the EU money. I mean to make it simple so people understand. And also the issue of answering the geopolitical challenges, building up a defense union.
Right.
This is why I voted convincingly in her favor, because she listened to us. Now she listened to us today. She must deliver. So we will have to watch out which commission she's going to shape, who is doing what and how in her new commission, new college. And of course, we want to see delivery on all these key points.
Right. Sandro, we don't have much time. I'm just going to jump straight into it.
Go.
I know you have a busy schedule.
Very busy. Sorry. I'm sorry, guys.
But I would like to know a bit about federalism, because here behind us we have the Spinelli group.
Yes.
We have him. The original. We also have the Union of European Federalists here at the Parliament today. I ask everyone one same question, that is, what is federalism for you? What is it?
It's more democracy, it's more efficiency, and it's more respect for national, regional, and local identities and actions.
Okay.
It is pluralism, it is efficiency, but it's also giving a way of giving ourselves the power and the democracy we need at transnational level to exist on the world scene.
People might argue against you, saying if more power goes to the EU, skeptics, would say, then I would lose sovereignty in my own country. Is that true?
No, federalism is the opposite.
The opposite?
Absolutely.
Explain that.
If we want to better protect our national sovereignty, we have to build up also a European dimension of sovereignty, because there are issues on which the action of the national state is not sufficient anymore. Take the fight against climate change, take all the digital artificial intelligence challenges, take also migration, take the issue of security and defense. It is clear that the state themselves cannot deliver, cannot bring those results that the citizens are waiting for. They cannot produce those common goods, which are what citizens expect: more security, more prosperity, better border management. So European sovereignty is there to ensure efficiency for the action of the Europeans and to better protect also national sovereignty. So they are not alternative, but they are perfectly complementary. And I want to say another thing, because people say, you are a federalist, so you want a unified, centralized, big European
That was my
state.
next question,
It is exactly the opposite.
Okay.
It is the opposite. Federalism is not centralization. Federalism is the opposite of centralization. And where the federalism exists, in the federal state, the issue is not centralization. I mean, we cannot say that Italy, Spain, Germany, Canada are centralized state. So I mean, federalism is the opposite, is to make it function better, to focus on the level which is the most appropriate and the most efficient to deliver for the citizens. So if we can do something at city level, let's continue to do it. If we can deliver at regional level, let the region do the work. If states are efficient on certain issues, continue. But on certain issues, we need a federal Europe, because on certain issues, we need a European action.
So maybe a short answer, if that's okay. Which issues on a federal level?
Migration, defense, security, climate change, all the digital and artificial intelligence challenges, and also democracy. I mean, there is a European dimension of democracy that we have to develop.
Okay.
Still, democracy is organizing only or mostly in 27 national spaces.
Okay.
We must develop also a transnational dimension of democracy.
Transnationalists, you're saying?
Absolutely. The transnationalist, for me, is not the goal, it's the instrument. I want to increase, to strengthen the democratic power of choice of the people.
Okay.
The citizens must be able to directly vote the European political parties.
Right.
Citizens must be able to be presented with a different alternative vision for Europe at the European election, and they need some women and some men to represent those visions, those proposals all over the continent. So this is why not only I want to give the power to the citizens to directly vote the European political parties, which is not the case today, but I want to elect through the European political parties some member of the European Parliament. This is the transnational list. When we will have done this, we will have created an emotional link between the European politics and European citizens, which is still not strong enough today, and that will be the key to have a democratic and federal Europe.
Yeah. Just to the audience, transnational list we talked about in our previous interview too. And basically this means that you're voting, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're voting for parties or party that represents you for the whole of Europe.
All over Europe.
All over Europe.
You get 30, 40, 50, 70, 100 women and men who around Europe present their vision for Europe, say that this is what we stand for in Europe, and you can vote these people from Lisbon to Vilnius, from Palermo to Dublin, and this really would double your democratic power, because you will continue to elect some member of the European Parliament voting at regional level, national level, but you would have an additional power of choosing also your representative by voting European political party.
So 2 votes.
2 votes, two ballot.
Yeah.
One ballot for your national or regional constituency, another ballot for your European constituency.
Really interesting. Conscious of time, I really want to get into the comments. We have quite a lot of questions. So first question, Sandro, is from that train man, okay? He's been asking you, is federalizing like unifying like the United States?
No, because the way of integrating and unifying Europeans is very original. We don't have to look at other models. We are developing our model. It's a very original model. It's a model based on this strange word that we call subsidiarity. Basically, we must identify the right level for governance and for democracy. And federalism means that we are convinced that for certain problems, the right level of governance of democracy is the European level. But in Europe, federalism, the federalism which exists is very much transnational. Is putting together civil societies, is putting together administration, is cooperating in a horizontal way between different national administrations, between cities, between regions. So it's not something vertical, and it's not something where there is a clear division between the European level and the local level, but there were constant synergies. Only on certain issues we have to decide most of our action will be dealt with at European level.
Okay. Moving to the next question. Here we have one from Foxtrap. He's asking, people wish to know who really leads the EU. Will the public ever be able to vote for the president of the EU through treaty changes?
Yes, I would say that we could start already now without treaty changes, because if we had the transnational list we are talking about, we could really let the people vote the candidate to the president of the European Commission or the different political parties. Why? Because the number one of the list of Renew, of the Socialists, of the Greens, would be naturally the candidate to the President of the Commission. So already now we could do so. Already now we could say that the number one, the transnational list, is a candidate not only to the President of the Commission, but also the President of the European Council. So already now we could vote for a President of the European Union. If we want, and in the future I will be in favor, having a direct election of the President of the European Union, for that we should change the treaty.
So what does that mean? I think it's very interesting. So that means that people would have a vote for a president, so they could, like in the US?
Yes. In that case, more direct than the US, because in the US, actually, I mean, it is a two-tier system where you vote at national level in your state, and then you sum the votes of each state, and the delegate elect the president of the United States. I would like to give to each citizens in Europe the power to vote for the woman or the man who runs for the presidency of the European Union.
Do you think that that might also, I mean, some of the, again, I'm taking the other side, some say that that could create a system like, or a situation like the US, where you have candidates that are seen as extreme to some people that could rise up and become president of the United States? Is that not a worry for Europe in that case?
You know, I mean, to fight against the danger of extremists, you need politics. You don't hide behind rules. It's not that without creating transnational lists or without creating the direct election of the President of the European Union, we win the fight against extremism. We win the fight against extremism if we deliver on the issue which worry the citizens. So I don't think that as we are challenged by extremists, we have to renounce to improve the democracy and to give to the citizens more power to choose. We have to give to the citizens more power to choose, and we must be effective in providing the solution they are calling for.
Yeah. We only have a couple minutes left, because I know you're short on time. There's a couple questions here that are not to do with federalism. So maybe there's one I could ask you, and this is Foxtrap again. How would Ukraine joining the EU change the circumstances of the war? I mean, can Ukraine even join while they're at war?
Ukraine cannot join now, but it is very important that we have formally decided to grant Ukraine the status of candidate and formally launch towards the negotiation. It is clear that Ukraine will be able to join later in the future, but on one side it's very important that we say to our Ukrainian sisters and brothers who are fighting with their life to defend their freedom and also to defend our values, that their place is in Europe and their place is within the European Union. On the other side, it's clear that we have to encourage reform in Ukraine, and at the same time we must be ready. Today we are not ready to open our doors to Ukraine. This is why we must reform the European Union.
There's an alternative opinion here. Kwasny, thank you for your question. What do you think about reforming the EU just simply back to an economic union?
I'm totally against. I'm totally against, because in economic union already we would lose a lot of what we have in terms of social protection, in terms of fundamental rights, in terms of citizens' rights, in terms of opportunities for young people, in terms of freedoms of working mobility. We would lose all that. And secondly, I think that to face the challenge of today, we need to work much more on public investment, democracy, industry, defense, security. So I think that would be a very bad idea.
Very bad idea. Okay. I think this might be, unless there's anyone else with more questions now, but I think you only have 2 minutes left. So what about this question? I think you kind of already answered it, but it came up twice, so I'm going to ask it again. Mr. Gozi, what should be the EU exclusive political cases? In the Austro-Hungarian Empire, everything was local except foreign affairs, military affairs, and finance, to cover the two.
Well, I already said there are some issues, some key issue of foreign affairs that we should decide together at European level. We should, for example, decide by majority to sanction Russia when it invades Ukraine. That we can't do today because we have to decide by unanimity. We have to identify and to implement after the answer what are the common threats at European level and provide ourselves with the means and with the operational tool to counteract those threats. I mean, we have to manage in a common way the border of the Union and manage in a common way some key issues linked to migration, both irregular migration and economic migration. We have to continue to develop a governance of digital and artificial intelligence, and we have to continue to fight against climate change. Already on this issue, together with trade, we have to act mainly or only as Europeans.
Perfect. I'm conscious of your time, so Sandro Gozi, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thanks to you,
yeah.
And thanks to all those who has listened to us.
Thank you for watching, and be reminded there's one more interview today, so I'll send you the link later.